Hi, my name is Dan Paulson. I have been communicating with somebody on the channel, just some things that we're interested in. You know what the channel's about. We're sharing ideas and exchanged messages in email. And this prompted me actually to make this video. I see a huge network. I don't know how to proceed with it. I want to show what I have going on, but I'm staying in the shallow end. Honestly, I am. And I'm waiting for people to go, okay, I got this. I see what you're doing, and I'm coming up with the same thing. Let's go. Anyway, I don't think I'm quite there. I don't think we're there yet. It's a busy world we live in today compared to back then when they had a lot of time on their hands, or their lives were busy like ours, doing things. They were just not filling it with a million different things. They were probably filling it with like 5 or 10 different things. They had more time to focus on fewer things instead of today we have very little time to focus on massive amounts of things. We also, if you consider this, we have technology, media, radio, video, things that fill in all of our space. You get in the vehicle, 3,000 years ago, you might have had to walk to the next town by yourself. What would you do? You would walk in silence. You would be thinking. Today, you jump in the car, you turn on the radio, and you go. We live in a different world. You know, that having been said, let me read what he wrote, and let's just discuss a few things. I've been watching a few different spiritual teachers over years of self-study. Your interpretations resonate me more than any other content I've found. And yeah, that's the same with me. There's something different. I've studied, and I've got material. I swear, I'm not a Gnostic. I read this book until I wore it out and had to buy a new one and then bought a different one. And this is just to try and figure out the Gospel of Thomas. I have this obsessive stuff going on that I think people don't need to have going on. And you know what? That's just been accidentally a part of my life. The jobs I've had, the things that I've done in life have been remote jobs where I am isolated in a vehicle driving along. I can do what I want. The radio's off. I've got a CD player, and I'm listening to all of my great courses material from Bart Ehrman, early Christianities, comparative religions, all of those things. I'm doing this for hours a day, weeks, months, years. I'm reading books. I've got multiple translations of the Quran on my shelves. Bibles I'm limited with, 6 Tao Te Ching translations. I have a lot of material that I've obsessively gone through, and I don't think other people have that time. I got here by accident, but I do believe I got here. And honestly, I think what's happened is that, like anything in life, when you focus a lot of attention and energy on something, you kind of network into being that way. And that's kind of what happened here. Along the way, I was also living life, doing other things. I didn't have stuff resolved, so I got multiple things going on. This was happening not in isolation. It's happening in life simultaneous to, okay, I'm figuring it out. And now I go back and I don't have things figured out. Life is transitioning back and forth. And it takes a while for all of this to eventually emerge as it does right now. And it's still, it's not there. What I found is just by analysis. It's not made up. It's not something that is supernatural. There seems to be an interactive process in here. And that's what I've spent a lot of time picking apart, but I can show that very quickly. However, the brain has to network in order to see it. I can show this to people that go, oh, I get it, and other people that go, I have no idea what you're talking about. Buddy, you cannot eat a metaphor. Well, if they're dainty meats, you can. Okay, yeah, we're stuck trying to figure things out, and not many people are on board with this. The interpretations resonate more. Why is that? Because the interpretation in this case isn't, here, follow me and listen to what I say. It's, hey, look at this. If we turn it this way and use it like this, it's an interactive step that helps me do something here. So I quit punching holes in the drywall. Wow. Something different emerges. Something besides supernatural. It's a stepping stone. Just wait till you die. I could never do that. And I don't listen to people. There's a lot of times I would listen to people that were very popular, and I would think, I don't get what they're saying. And they're just going on and on and on about things that they can't demonstrate. And you're like, what? I might as well be sitting in church. I don't care if they're telling me that they're talking to some entity beyond that is telling us how to take care of ourselves. Okay, so here's the deal. All of them are onto something. None of them have completely analyzed it. When people are telling you to do this, to change your frequency, to elevate this, which causes this to happen and causes that to happen, how, why, what's happening, what's going on up in the brain? The problem is that life is unfolding in such a way that we have electrochemical storage up here that is an energy that resides under a certain emotion, and we know it's there because it acts out when we don't want it to. There are things that emerge from us that make you go, that doesn't make me, I'm not happy. All of those things are taking us off course, whatever it is, however you feel about somebody, whatever's happened to you, what you want, what's happened in the past, the things we haven't resolved. All of those issues are there, and that is what is causing our life to be the way it is. We know that. We don't have to listen to somebody say, you got a bad frequency. Listen to this and it'll change it out. Does it? Does your brain memory, do your memories change? Do you listen to some frequency and go, oh, whew, man, I'm okay with that rape now. That molestation no longer hurts me. Yeah, that's bullshit. You have to interact with these things. And the people that are telling you, here's what you do, they're looking for easy way outs. And the material does say change frequencies. Yeah. Occultic material and the material from, what was Newton working on? The Philosopher's Stone, changing the state of one thing to another, changing frequencies from one thing to another, changing somehow something from, we're changing our hurt to joy. We're getting rid of things. We're healing. We're self-healing. And when they see that, those are analogs. Changing your frequency, sure, change. How do you do that, though? You got a memory up here that says, this happened, and I hate because of it. Can you change what happened? Nope. Can you change the hate? Yes. That's what you do. That's the frequency transformation you make right there. But it's an internal thing. And all day long, you can listen to the fancy people telling you to do that, and you can hang out with them, and you can be in their congregation, whether it contains an entity or not. They're still not interacting with anything. And yeah, to me, it didn't work. It didn't change my life. Interacting with it this way did. Yeah, there was something else. But what I'm going to suggest is the reason that it rings with you. What I say is because it rings with you, because you see it in your mind, not because of the person, but because of the material. The material qualifies itself. Anybody else who has anything to say about it, that all they're doing is passing along the process. No one, it doesn't do anything to help anyone else except to teach them that is the process. That's what I'm providing, the process, because I found it. But you ring with what you look at and go, yeah, that works in my head, in my soul, in my heart. That's why it works. And as long as you're following somebody, you're also elevating them. You're not on the path if you're following somebody, unless you're following yourself in the material and your success with it. That's the inner path. That's the hero's journey. That's yours. I don't have many people to talk with about the epiphanies or ideas I have with. This is rare stuff, isn't it? It's kind of worrying about how many people are disinterested in the truth, and the ones that are interested usually limit themselves to the Bible and don't really grasp what I say. I was writing about freedom and gluttony in a spiritual sense, and I had an idea for a YouTube channel, something like the Spiritual Dictionary, where I could break down terms like this for people who can't see past the literal meanings. That's a good idea. I have thought about how, is there a way to make a dictionary saying, here are the analogs. These are what they mean. And I thought at first, I can do that. I'm going to sit down and start doing that. Man means this or that, woman means this or that. And the more I looked and the more I got into it, the more I saw this shifting is happening so much that it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Here's an example. It's off the top of my head. The Argonautica, if you know that, Jason and the Argonauts, Greek myth, contemporaneous with the writings of, attributed to Moses, the Jewish works. All of these are appearing at the same time. They're teaching the same template. They're carrying them in different vehicles, different genres of vehicles. But what you would see, for example, with Jason and the Argonauts is that he is on a ship sailing from island to island with the 40 Argonauts that are with him, and Hera, the god, on the back of the ship in an effigy, watching over them as they go and helping them along the way. Then we go to Jesus, who gets done at a wedding where his mother has been giving directions, and then Jesus walks, doesn't have a ship, he's on foot with his 12 disciples, with his mother, to the next place. Those are the same elements. This is the person, Jason, 40 characteristics, and you're being watched over by something at a higher self. This is Jesus. They're using 12 disciples as your characteristics. Instead of the 40 Argonauts, they're using 12 disciples. Same analog? No, different analog, same thing. They're carrying the same thing. These are our characteristics that they've identified, just in a fun way. Here's the things you need along the way. They're making the story big. And the mother, however, is, okay, you see that happening there. These become obscure. People go, I don't see the connection there. And when you stand close to them, you don't see the connection. You have to stand back and realize that they don't mean what they mean. They're not historical. They're carrying a psychological lesson, and they're all carrying the same lessons. They're just shifting around the elements and doing it. So that's what makes it difficult. It's more easy, I think, to see the template and what they're doing than it is, and knowing that the analogs can come from all over the place, than trying to take the analogs and say, here is how they fit. That can be accurate in a lot of places, or you can say it fits here in this verse, but then later on, this same teaching will use something different. So that, I think, it would be very hard. Here is actually a good one that would work. Our negative characteristics, the things that come out of us, the things that emerge, the things that we don't have a hold of. They could be called weeds from your garden. They could be called demons that possess you. They could be called skeletons in your closet. They could be called the demon that you must conquer. Any evil sort of thing on this adventure that is an impediment to you is that part of you that acts out. They're always going to be that way, but it could be used. It could be the enemy. It could be the opposing king that wants your land. They're building these in stories, again, that are just really isolated down to the psyche, with us taking it out. When we strip all the stuff off, it comes down to that same one all the time. I don't know how many of my previous videos you've watched. I realize this is a vlog. It's hard to watch my videos. I wouldn't expect anybody to go through them all. It would be very difficult. But there is the component where, now we have something planted in there, a creature, something that is in the way, or something that comes out, a weed that comes back, a creature that emerges, or something like that. What we see is, like in Greek myth, you might have the punishment of rolling the boulder up. It comes back down, roll it up. You're stuck forever doing that. You're doing a repeated process. The other one where, I don't recall the name, liver gets eaten out by the eagle. Liver was thought to be the seat of emotions for the Greeks. This liver gets eaten out, but it grows back, and it's painful. It gets eaten out again, and it grows back, and it's painful. It gets eaten out, and see what's happening there? Jesus here's a tree that's growing up, and if you chop it down, it'll grow back again. Only by pulling it out at the root does it stop. What we begin to see is these are all emergent cyclical procedures that are preceding a punishment. You begin to realize, damn it. That's it. I'm mad. It acts out. It acts out. It acts out. And as long as I never interact with it, I'm not going to heal myself. But people don't want to do that. The other stuff is okay. If you actually follow the religion and do forgive like you're supposed to, you'll be all right. I don't think that's a requirement in Christianity. Jesus teaches it. But Christianity says what? Praise Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior, and you'll go to heaven. That's where a lot of people stop right there. So they go by, they become Christians without doing what Jesus teaches, and therefore they don't become Christ-like. And that verbiage is offensive to them. It's a very difficult thing to mess with. And I'm pretty sure when Jesus says, many are called, few are chosen, that the many that are called are the ones who carry the ark, and the few that are chosen are also the ones who see inside, that these are continually become analogous terminology, hinting to us that if we learn how to turn it inside, that it works that way. Okay, here's an example of, I'm going to make a fun connection for you that I don't make very much because, well, it's fun, but it's not that important. I'm going to grab one verse from the Nag Hammadi, and I'm going to tell you that the Gospel of Thomas was an incredibly important work to me. That's why I wore that out. I saw something in there that was like, there's some weird things in here that I like. I saw Jesus' teachings, but I saw other stuff, and I couldn't let that go. And eventually, I called it my Rosetta Stone, because I realized that it was a blend of different things from different places. But let me start first with this verse from the Gospel of Thomas. And this is verse 102. Jesus said, "Woe to the Pharisees, for they are like a dog sleeping in the manger of oxen, for neither does he eat, nor does he let the oxen eat." Okay, first thing I want to reiterate here is that there's going to be two kind of primary verses that I see, teachings. One of them is really internal, how you address yourself, and the other one is not that specifically, but it's how your life experience might be as a result of your changes. An example of that might be in a Jesus teaching where he's telling that a physician doesn't heal his own family. And you might think, well, why not? And if you analyze it and you look at where that is in the teaching flow of things, which I'm not going to get into now, but what that is telling you that as you are learning and you are emerging, the people that are around you, that you're like, oh, I got this. Hey, everybody, listen up. You can't help them. They won't let it even be okay, and you're experiencing that now. So those are going to be other teachings. These are almost like warnings. Here's what you do to get on the path. Here's what your life experience is going to be along the way. And that is what I'm going to suggest this one is right here, that it is one that says that is something about your life experience or this path experience. And in this case, what I'm going to suggest, if we go back to it, okay, I've not quite taught this before. Not very well. I think that this is what I'm doing, though. First of all, is I identify the nouns, the Pharisees, dog, manger, oxen. I'm going to just do that first part right there. Jesus said, okay, I just want to identify the teaching. These are the analogs, the Pharisee, the dog, the manger, and the oxen. Those are analogs, but they're not going to play out inside. I will try that and go, it doesn't quite work. And I won't go through that process. What I will suggest is that this occurs in the teaching section where it is beginning to talk to you about what your life experience is going to be once you start going on the path. So we know from, if we were to look at the teachings, there's individual verses, but the verses follow a path. They are sequenced as well. And this is going to sequence along the way where it's kind of warning you of something. And in this case, the Pharisees, who are the Pharisees in Jewish time? They're the people that teach the word. They're the ones that are teaching the Torah. They're the ones that are teaching the people who don't read, don't write. There's no Bibles. There's few people that have access to this, and they want to know what's going on. They come and learn God's word. And the Pharisees are the ones telling them, this is what the Bible says, and here is what it means. They tell them whether or not they can work on the Sabbath and just anything like that. And what Jesus is saying, that the Pharisees are like a dog. The dog is preventing, in this case, the dog is preventing the oxen from eating. What do we know about eating? Eating is something in the spiritual world we're consuming, we're learning, we want to learn. So the Pharisees are like a dog that's so the dog is keeping the oxen, the group of animals together, penned up from consuming. The dog is preventing them from consuming. The Pharisees are like that. The Pharisees are preventing the congregation from learning. They don't know. Is that what it's saying? That's what I get. But here's the fun part. This is where that branching geekery comes into place. I'm going to go 500 years prior to the Gospel of Thomas, to a Greek slave named Aesop, 72, the dog in the manger. A dog was lying in a manger on the hay which had been put there for the cattle, and when they came and tried to eat, he growled and snapped at them and wouldn't let them get at their food. "What a selfish beast," said one of them to his companions. "He can't eat himself, and yet he won't let those eat who can." What do we have right there? That one's almost blatant, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we're just going to steal that and kind of reword it a little bit and put the Pharisees in front of it, because it's covering the same thing. It's teaching the same lesson. That the masses are not being fed by the people who are teaching them. That's why they become so obscure to see and to find. It's just, I don't know, it's taken a lot to get to that point, and I don't know how to convey it. There's a part of me that goes, oh, yeah, you see it, look, it's right there. And you realize, oh, it's not that, it's not like that. And anyway, what else? I got another idea for us to communicate. You know what? How about you can make some videos and post them up on your channel, and then when you post them, just make them. I always keep mine public. You can make them. You can make them private if you want to, and just I don't know why anybody would do that. I guess if you want to leave something up there and then maybe have it show up later. The other one is unlisted. So if you put one up, you post one up, and then when you just post it, put it unlisted, which means it can be viewed, but only by people that have the link to go click on it. It won't be open. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and communicate with me. Post up a video, talk to me, and send me a link. That'd be great. I don't know how it's going to work. We're just kind of playing with this, trying to figure it out, looking for an open platform, and learning how to, touch bases on here and share ideas. Anyway, I can't think of anything else. I wanted to talk to you because great email, but it looked like I wanted to interject a few things right there, thinking that might be very helpful to you at this point. Feel free to question, ask other comments, anybody else. I can go a lot of places, but I'm not sure where to go. And I'm not sure if people are like, I don't even know where to ask him to go. So it's kind of new. And again, this is old stuff, I think. I think this is just stumbling upon something that was being done where we're looking at those patterns and going, why are they there? Why do these similarities exist? The more you look at the more things, the more obvious it becomes. It took looking at a lot of material for a long time, and it finally emerged. But I think that, again, I think it's discoverable, but it's something that can be shown. If you show the procedure that you've used, and I went through the path, I healed myself, my life, it works, and I believe that is what is here in all of them. Anyway, okay, I appreciate your email. I wanted to respond and show you that those things they're so all over the place that it's like almost ridiculously so. But it takes just reading everything with an open mind. And I don't have like a photographic memory or anything, so I got to read this stuff till the pages are falling out to get it. And then I think I'm probably good for people because I'm plain language. This doesn't come from academia. And fortunately, sometimes neither do I. So we're finding things that normal people can find. Right now, we're rediscovering it. We're picking it out. We're analyzing what they were doing, and using the technology that they had available. Except that we can read and write. Yay! And we can communicate with each other. Everyone, love one another. I'll see you in the next video.